This is a video, instructional video on Mountain Office web-based app, version 1.4.8, the newest one out. And there's some things that changed, so I want to make sure everybody has an ability to see what's changed and be able to use this to help them as they migrate through the upcoming season. So let's log in here. See that? So again, nothing's changed here in the staff area. We have the due schedules, we have the assigned works, and the my tasks. Those are all still functioning exactly the same way that they always have been. This is showing you what's due and what's overdue. This would be if there's assigned works packages out to be picked up, and the my tasks are relative to tasks that are for whomever the user is. And you can, over here, you can send messages to other users in the system. So let's jump in, and the first thing we're going to do is look at Mountain Office Mobile. And for those of you that are new to the system, which there are a few, this is the structure of the system. And if you double click an item over here, you'll see more data here. Every folder or an object will have a circle with these three little dots in it, and if you open that up, you have the functionality. Which you can do is you can rename it, you can set as an entry point, you can click on the features, which just shows you the details of that folder. Let's open this, double click, and you've all seen this probably before, but just to refresh you, these are subfolders of Mountain, the primary folder, which was the one we just saw. And again, the three little circles here, this is a little bit more elaborate because there's more options here. You can rename it, you can copy it or duplicate it, you can cut, you can delete, and set as an entry point, and you also can set as a data node. These were, for those of you that were using the old desktop mode, this is the same as was there. You don't have the same choices. You have basically a system node, and you have a number that you can put in, and you can actually set it up as a cost center if you want. You have to go and save it here, and if you want to cancel it, you just cancel that, okay? So that's what appears here. And if you wanted to create a new folder, you could hit this plus button, and you get this, again, for those that are desktop users, you get the ability to create a folder or an object just as you did previously on the desktop. Let's use Mountain Operations as my standard example because it's got the most in it, and you can see here there are more folders. So we're now down into the third level where we're looking at Mountain Operations, and here we have grooming, which is highlighted. So again, anything that's highlighted here, and if you go up here, see what you can look at, and it goes schedules, which are work orders, archive, which are finished, completed schedules or work orders, documents can be stored in the system, and basic data and addresses. Let's go to lift maintenance, double click that, and that opens up to the two peaks as well as a material export, which we're using for one client that is actually taking their their purchase orders that they've created in the depot management system and exporting it out to their accounting system. Mount Ellen, spare parts, staff, tools, all folders that you've seen before. And let's open one so we can look at some detail. And we're going to go to this lift, the gatehouse lift, and we're going to double click that and open it. And you can see again, they're now to another level. So we're Mountain Operations, lift maintenance, Lincoln Peak, gatehouse, lift components. And again, let's say if this is, I'm a lift mechanic and this is where I want it to go, and I didn't want to go to all these other folders, I could click here and set it as my data entry point, as an entry point. So when I log into the system, that's where I'm going to end up. very convenient for people that are out in the field that don't want to have to go through all the clicks to get there. Double click. So we now, let's say we're in brakes. So again, to run through the string, mountain operations, lift maintenance, Lincoln Peak, gatehouse, lift components, brakes. So you always have a view of where you're at. And in this case, we have 2 brakes. So so now I've got emergency rollback brake highlighted. You can see a 2 up here, 24 here. I have no documents or any of that information here. And I now have some work orders here. And if I wanted to create a new work order for emergency rollback brake, I would click on this button. And now I have create a new schedule. And I, again, as previously, we assign a category, brake maintenance. We can name this. We can set the responsible person. And you can see here the drop-down menu. We can set a deadline date. Again, a little calendar box appears. We click on that. We can go and set the date if we want to change the year. We can click on the year and it moves us to where we need to be. That. And then I can also select a start date. This version does not provide the option of putting in how many days you need. And then you can go to by time and you either select the by time or by data. And remember that if it's by data, you need to have an operating data counter. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. So once I've created the work order, I didn't create one. So let's quickly go back here but I'll go to this work order. And this is something I've been using as a test. You can see here's the detail that's been put in. And I can put in now all my activities that I want. I can put a note in. Be sure to save it. So that activity is here. I can add new activity, and I can keep going all the way down and build out the entire work order. You can see here that I've got the ability that I can put the categories, who it's responsible to, whether it's by time or by a data counter, and I can save it. I could actually in here add a document if I wanted to, and then you can see I've got the brake test here that I could open. And let me just verify something with you when I do this. You can see that this is going to my computer. I have to save it, and then I can open it. So just be aware that that's going to have to happen. It's a little bit different than what it was before, but it still works. If it goes to your device, you'll save it to your device and mobile device, and you can visualize it there. Further data is, you can put in the allocated time, a cost estimates, any safety notes that you want, any remarks. And you can put in, what was the other one I wanted to show? Key data, which is what we've got. The key data is here. Okay. So, and again, what we can do is this is really easy. For new customers, you do have to build a staff database, which you can reach out to me on. But if we add a person, it's going to show us from the database. So it'll show us the people in the database, and we pick that person, and we say add, and then we hit close, and you can see Bill Smith's here. If I want to add his time, I can go in and add the time, and I hit save, and now Bill Smith is in here for an hour, and the total time is an hour. Same thing goes with material. I can go to the database, and I can put in a part, and I can put in a search, supposed to search, or I can go to categories, bearings, show all spare parts, bearing test, okay, save, and now I've added a part. Okay, I can add a remark. And I can add documents to it. And you have to use the buttons. You have to use the specific, so edit a remark, save, document. Again, this will go either to your camera or your computer, whatever document you want to bring in. So that's, you need to understand that, and it'll go to where the easiest route. And on a computer, it's pretty straightforward. It'll go to my computer as the easiest route. And then I can add a signature. Okay. Save and close that. And that's basically how you create a work order. And if I had finished that work order, I would have rolled over to Archive, and I can see all the work orders that I have in Archive. And as we had in the past, we do have a filtering capability over here. So this is a search, and then we go to include all subordinated objects, which if there was anything under here that would appear. And then we can say show due schedules, which many of you want to look at. A category filter, you can select a filter, which is going to filter out everything that's, now again, remember it's going to do it for whatever is highlighted. So in this case, you wouldn't get a lot. Responsibility filter for whoever's responsible, and then the date filter as to when you want to look. And then this is an interval filter. I want to look at something by what's due every day or what's due every month type of thing. And then this just resets the filter. So you've got a lot of capability in the mobile app now that you didn't have before. I just want to make sure it's clear to everybody what you can do. It's basically this, pretty much the same as what's on the desktop. For the operating logbook, of course, that's always been on the web app. Same scenario. These are the systems and the existing operation logbooks that are in this demo. And then on the administrative area, we have the systems. Now remember that anything that gets put in under the Mountain Office Mobile, you can create a system, and to be able to create a logbook, you have to activate the system, and it has to be something that is a system. So remember that if you put in like a new groomer and you don't create a system, you're not going to be able to activate it. And also, you need to have an activation code for your first time that you create the system. And if you need more activation codes, please let me know. Just to briefly touch on this, so if I open this up, it's going to show me what these are, what I've got in place, and I open the checklist, and I can save the checklist as a template, or I can enter delete the entire checklist. And to add an activity, it's very simple. I add activity. Whatever button I'm clicking will put the interval in, whether it's pre-operational, operational, post-operational, weekly, or monthly. I then build an activity, and remember that you have to click on this line to put the cursor there. It's aggravating, I know, but that's what we have to do. And so you type in what you want, and then you hit next. And then you have the choice of either saying, okay, test is going to be a headline. That's not what I want. Do I want a value record with tests? And if I say yes, it's going to come and it's going to say, okay, pick out your value record. And then your value records are all here. Okay, and you pick the proper value record that you want. Now, I also can put in a data counter. Let's say you're working on an evac motor and you want to record the engine, the evac motor hours. You can hit that, and then you would be, what do I want to? You have to pick the. And if this is like, okay, I just want to make sure this is done, you would click the yes or no button. And if you wanted to have whoever's doing this inspection or the work to require a signature for that activity, you can click that and you hit create. And you'll see here that this test, this last one that I just did, it now says it's needed, okay, which is this double check. And this means it requires a signature. Now, all of these are needed and they just are value records. So you just have to record records. So you can play with that. You can set it up the way you want. And that becomes part of the template, if you will, for that system. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to say sure. And I'm going to delete this, sure. And I'm going to delete this to say sure. Now, if you had an item here and you wanted to reorganize it, you just click on it and then drag it to wherever you want. Okay, and then the numbering will be all automatically resequenced. And if you wanted to edit it, you hit edit and you can go in and do what you want, okay? And it'll just hit save. I didn't make any changes. So that's how you set up a log. Now, of course, you've got general settings, which I'll open, means that you can say, you can rename it, which you would click this button for. You can click employee must complete the day, operating and must confirm the day, signature fields for the daily closing on the printout. So in case your inspectors or insurance company or even yourself want a printout for some reason, and you want to make sure the signatures are on there, you need to make sure that button is clicked. And you can say that these are completed with signature. So that is what the general settings are there. If you go to dashboard preview, this is going to show the things that you want to see on the dashboard. So every one of these circles would have to be clicked for you to see what you want to see on the dashboard. And I'll show you the dashboard in a sec. An order by the operating manager, if you wanted to put out a message, to say that this is the message you want to put out. Now, you could build a bunch in advance and then click the ones you want and put them out there. That's up to you. But this is an ability so that whoever logs in for that day or for that period of time that the log is covering, that they see a message from the manager. Editing users, these are the people that can edit it. You can see here that the creator, or the admin, was the creator and is a super user, and we've allowed LiftTech1 to become a super user. So which users are allowed to edit and finalize an operating logbook. Super users can confirm days and make settings. So in other words, if I click this, it doesn't automatically make somebody a super user, but they can edit and finalize it. So maybe that for a lift operator, you may not want that. They don't want them editing it. So that's up to you, again. If for a scope of functions, you click on that, these are widgets, let's say, that are included into the operating logbook. You can click weather data, staff on duty, change of duty, driving operation, operation interruption, and operating speed. You can see these are clicked for this. Weather data is, there's a collection that you can collect all the data if you want to put it. We did not put this on the mechanical. We've put it on the actually operators, the lift operators logbook. Staff on duty, if you click that, it's going to say change of duty as well. And you may not want that but maybe you do, because if you're going to change the mechanic who worked on it for this day, you may say, well, we want to change it. But typically most mechanical shops do not, maintenance shops don't put this in. This is mainly for the lift operators where we've got multiple people staffing the lift. We want to know who's at the bottom or who's at the top, who's at mid-station. And we want to know when they change their location. We can also record driving operation. And this would be On the mechanical, because there should be, because we need to start the lift. We can't start the lift without having driving operation. And so mechanics have to start the lift, and this needs to be there. Operating interruption would be anything that changes the or stops the lift. Could be for a variety of reasons. Mechanics, we can put that in the mechanical if that's your, because most mechanical, most times, maintenance departments are the ones that A, stop the lift from a weather impact or slow it down because of wind. And so that would also cover speed. The operating interruption can come because of a failure or the lift stops because of something triggered within the control system of the lift. And that, so you could have it in both the lift operations log as well as the mechanical log. Stations are, do we have a bottom terminal, top terminal, whatnot. And then the checklist, of course, which is what we just dealt with. So when you set this up, you have to set this up, and then every logbook going forward from the day you set that is going to have all that information in it. Templates, we've got a few different things set up here, but you can have as many as you want. And then adding a template is the same scenario that we just went through in building a logbook. And then also can put in your map, the ski map, you can upload it, and you can see that as you want. So that's basically the administrative side. If we go actually into a logbook, I'll open this one. So remember I said that you had to start the operating day. So this is the day, you start the day. So it'll open up for today. Okay, now we started the day on the 22nd, and we say, okay, what have we got? We have no general data, we only have work, which is pre-operational. And you can see it's all here with different settings here. And just to be clear, this is a demo, and I have not kept this up current. So that's why we have the red circle with an exclamation point saying it's 5 days overdue. Okay, so I've got to go in and do this for 5 days to get this to be ready. Now, if this wasn't, when I click this and fill out this form, I click it all, there will be two green little check marks next to pre-operational. So as we go through the day, we can see what's done. And when I get to post-operational, and you can see here under weekly work, they're not green yet because it's not done yet. And the same with the monthly. And then this is a summarization of all the remarks, observations, and special occurrence that happened during the day. And this is to complete the day. And when I do that, it has to be signed off by the people doing the work as well as the supervisor and then the manager. So pretty good system for recording everything that has to be done while you're operating the gatehouse lift. Close this out, and just to show you, and then here is the dashboard or general information. This is the special operating manager notices, and then you get the statistics for the lift, and you can set the calendar, and you can pick out the days you want. You can go to the dashboard, and in the dashboard you can set the filter period for how long you want to know. You can do this up for 10 days. And then you can pick out the data counters, and you can see all the value records here. And you'll see that it'll show you graphs where there are recordings, required. So it becomes a very useful tool on looking at things, and you can go here, and you can set the number of days you want to see here. If I say 2, the maximum is 10, but you can set whatever you want. You can go back in time and the current year, or you can go the current month. So the current year shows you the filter period. And up here you've got a feedback, so that you're giving us feedback as to things you'd like to see changed in this. So that's the logbook, the operating logbook, operating data counter. Okay. So these are data counters. If I click one, you'll see I can open it. I can put a new value in. It'll timestamp it. You just need to click this. You can see it's actually put in the exact time. And you hit OK, and the graph will be there. And if you want to create a new one, you choose the name. Okay. And you put the name of the data counter, the unit, but is it in hours and a category, and you whether it's fuel use, operation hours. Now those categories have to be built in a special place, and I'll show you that in a second. So that's how you create an operating data counter, and you can select the ones you want up here. You can obviously do a search by name, or you can search them by, okay, I want to look at all the fuel use ones. I want to look at the operating hours. Then we have the assign works area, which I have a separate video on, which you should look at as to how to mark packages to be sent out for going offline, and then those that are on the way and are ready for pickup. And it works very similar to what used to be is in the older desktop version, but now it all can be done from the web-based system. The depot is not a depot inventory system. This is, you have to put in all the spare parts, which at this point in time, you've got to connect with me and I can put in the spare parts for you. You can search, okay? You can pick a part. Here it is. You can edit that part if you want. You can say the spare part, the number. You can click on this button and it'll give you the spare part. And then here is the whole manual of spare parts. So if you click this, it's going to show that you use the spare part. If I click that, use the spare part, and you then marking as to where you use it, and it was added. This means it was added into the system on that date. Edit the spare part. Here it is, right here. Okay. Now, if you're on a mobile device and you've got a barcode system set up for your bins, you can just go in with your device in your hand, scan the barcode, and it's going to actually go in and take a picture of that barcode, which is right here, and add that part in. So again, you don't have to go through all of this to scan the image, and you have to choose the image, or you can drop an image in here if you took it on your device, not in the system, and you then want to drop it in here, you can. So that's pretty much it. I think the only thing that I have left to show you is if we go here and go up here, you'll see that there's a settings. So basic settings allows you general settings. You can change the access data from server, which that really won't change. That's the login that you need to get on. So remember this, if you need it, you can set this on any device and you can get that with this URL. You can get access to Mountain Office from any device anywhere, as long as the server's running, or if you're in the cloud-based system, you can do it at any time. You can do some other things. You can request a password at each login. You can require a signature to finalize the schedule. You can enable functions. And for those of you who are on the desktop, you can remember seeing that this type of thing is exactly the same. These are different permissions of things you can do, and you can check and give different users those permissions. Again, this is only for administrators. And then we have user settings, so you can go in, if you're logged in as Joe, you can go in and change your password. You can see a list, if you want to see a list of persons in the dialog boxes, then that's going to show up. You can add an executing person from the database, so that would be, okay, I need to add somebody to a log, I can do that. My starting point, again, this is where you can click on a starting point. If you're a lifty and you only work a certain lift all the time, and you're the sort of, you take out the tablet, and you've got a user for, let's say, lift operator 1, you can click on that and it'll always take you to your lift. Management, this is pretty critical. So if you wanted to create categories, and again, this is, let's go to schedules, click here, and if I wanted to add one, I can add a category, okay? And you can put in the category, and that's fine, you'll save it. And if you delete one, okay, you can add one, but it's also going to ask you as a question, where do you want to put the existing data? You have to select a replacement category before you can delete it, okay? And we can do the same with value records. It works the same way, okay? You take a value record, you can add it, and when you add it, you have to make sure that you select it as a number, text, or date, whatever record you're trying to record. So, pretty straightforward, guys. I think if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout, and I'll be happy to share what I know about them, and we'll work it out. Thanks much, and have a great day.